I don't give a shit about the scientific explanations. People, if they identify as a woman, get to compete in sports. If that's not fair in the short term for a variety of little competitions, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, because the societal interest of including trans people in society trumps stupid competition. Full stop. So I'm right about this, you're wrong about this. Trans women should be able to compete without question in women's sports, because there are a lot of instances where there are athletes who, and just, there's not even evidence to show that this is the case, but just take their assertion at face value for a second.
Okay, so she's like, she can't have a complete thought. Like, she said like 4 incomplete thoughts and just keeps jumping to each incomplete thought.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that. I keep
Like,
waiting.
insane.
Like, okay, what's the topic
Right.
here? When
like,
should I start paying attention?
Right. Because she's talking about how, Nikki Haley's saying, like, she has a daughter in sports. What is she supposed to tell her when, she's getting, she's losing to someone who's a trans woman, especially if they're young.
Her entire thing about what am I going to tell my daughter? I don't know, dude. I don't know. You're a bad mom if you can't explain this to your kid. You're a bad mom if you can't explain that there are people along a gender spectrum and it's not this binary. Like, I hear this all the time. My daughter plays sports. What am I going to tell to her? It's not fair to her to compete with this kind of person.
That's generally going to be before they start taking, cross-sex hormones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you essentially just have like a boy biologically competing with girls.
Yeah, biological male.
Right. And also it would depend on, if they have they, especially if it depends on like, have they taken puberty blockers? If they've never taken puberty blockers, if they've literally gone through male puberty and now they're competing with your girl, your daughter or whatever, like they're going to have a significant biological advantage. And Emma's just like, you can't explain that to your daughter? You must be a bad mother.
Yeah. If you can't explain to your kid how sex is a spectrum, if you can't explain this completely illogical thing that just popped up 15 minutes ago that nobody that half the country doesn't actually believe in because they're not gaslit into believing it over politics,
right,
then you're a bad mom.
Right, which is not even backed by science, by the way, which we'll find out later in the clip. Emma doesn't literally care about what is scientifically accurate or not.
Right, so. Of course, she's like, this is the narrative, must stick with the narrative must survive.
I'll be right back. Keep it going.
That this is some unfair advantage. There's an unfair advantage all the time in sports. That's actually quite, that's the nature of sports. That some people are physically or more gifted, or they have like a better mentality. We should have banned Yao Ming from basketball because he's just too tall. It's not fair for everybody else.
The children of professional athletes through.
Oh my God. They actually have 3 people on screen that are actually in the conversation, and the side guy from the peanut gallery is the one talking again. Why do they do this? Why? This guy's more a regular part of the show than these people are actually on the show.
Through like having wealthy parents and access to gyms and like say height genetics, they have advantage.
Serena Williams, her serve is faster. Was way faster.
Did you know that some people are just have biologically stronger bodies than other people?
Yeah, they're called men. Yeah, I do know that actually.
Like this argument is so stupid. It's like, well, just because in the categories that we've already created, okay, we've already said, we're going to have categories based on sex, we're going to have categories based on age, we're going to have categories depending on the sport based on weight class, we're going to have categories based on, level of, generally every sport has like level of, how good you are. Are you going to be in the major leagues or the minor leagues or, whatever.
Competence.
Right. Yeah, we have all these categories that we've created to try to make it so that as many people as possible can engage in competitive sports in a way that is not just like completely fucking, one-sided, destruction of them. Right.
Yes.
That's the whole point. So for her to give, and for them to give this like idiotic fucking argument, like, well, just because at the highest fucking levels, at the tip-top levels of professional sports, okay, some people still have physical advantages that pushed them to the top of the 0.001%. Therefore, it means everyone else under them can just get fucked when it comes to sort of like or every woman under them can get fucked when it comes to the trans question.
Yeah.
Like, if that's your argument, if that's your dumb argument that it doesn't matter if people have advantages, then why don't the trans women compete with the men?
Yeah.
When they're gonna, be on puberty blockers and take cross-sex hormones and all these other things that are make them, weaker than a cis man. Why don't they compete
I know
then if
why.
that's the issue?
Because they'd lose. They'd lose their fucking asses.
Right. This argument is so stupid.
Well, not
And
only
they
that,
know it's stupid.
the entire classification process is to group people together so they aren't very far apart in their ability. That's the whole point of it. But the trans stuff comes along and it's just like they're way outside the distribution of everyone else. I think there was like a deadlifter or something that beat the record by like 100 pounds or something. It was some ridiculous amount of weight.
Right.
No woman even, like, that record is never going to be touched by another biological woman.
Yep.
But okay, whatever. Look, the whole idea that it's not going to be every single medal holder, every single record holder is going to be a trans woman.
Right.
The fact that they can't see that's obviously going to happen is, like, why don't they get that, Sitch?
Well,
why don't they understand that?
Well, I'll tell you why. So when we talked to Sock Dunn left on Tuesday, he didn't understand the concept that little extremes will group at the tail ends of a distribution.
Right.
He didn't seem to understand that mathematical fact. So maybe that's a feature of leftists not understanding this concept. That
you're right.
If you have trans women who are able to compete in sports, sure, some trans women, right, might be on the same level as a cis woman because they're just naturally, that's their body was never in a place or whatever. But that's not going to be, at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot of trans women who are significantly stronger than a cis woman in a lot of these categories, in a lot of these sports. And they are going to basically, every record will just slowly get taken over. And, top level will be, basically the top slot will be accompanied by a trans woman.
They're going to be untouchable records too. That's the thing. How does that affect the motivation? Like if you were going to, engage in any kind of endeavor, any kind of competitive endeavor, whatever it is, if you know there's absolutely no way that you can achieve the top spot or even come close to it ever, why are you even doing it? Why are you even engaging in that?
Right. Well, I mean, and the irony is like, if we lived in an alternate universe where there were no women's sports, so women had to compete in the same category as men. And instead, it was just like, they were just like, in the low, like a much lower level of, professional category, right?
Yeah.
Minor leagues. And so there was no like, women's deadlift champion. It was just like the men's are the champion. And then like,
the deadlift
thousands
champion
down was like the first woman, right?
Yeah.
All these people would be screaming and saying how unfair it is that women don't have their own league to compete in.
Right. So some woman can be the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're so willing to just throw that in the garbage. Like nobody's thinking about this on the left.
No. Well, they don't care. Not that I think they just don't care. And it is ironic that her statement earlier, she's like, no one cares about these trans issues. These aren't the issues that voters care about. Now, I'm going to sit here like everyone else, and I'm going to defend the right to completely change sports on a complete national level, to the detriment of a lot of cis women for an issue that no one cares about.
I can think of some people who would care, like all of those record holders. Look, they're like crazy for that. I'm the record holder in this swim competition or whatever it is. They do that.
Of
like
course,
if someone can come close to beating their record, they show up at the meet. They want to see, am I going to be the record holder at the end of this thing?
Yes. You have people that spend this is so stupid. This is why. And this is, here's the kill shot to this dumb fuck argument. Okay. Why is it that professional sports almost all ban the use of steroids?
Oh, because it gives people an advantage.
Oh, but what? Who cares? There's people that are just naturally tall.
Yeah.
Yao Ming is just naturally tall. Why can't all the basketball players just fucking use steroids and whatever else they want?
Yeah.
Like, it's just It's so stupid. This is the dumbest argument.
Yeah. Just also, it's funny to be just casually shitting all over female athletes too.
Sure.
It's like
We don't care. Right.
so far from feminist. Well, it's
Right.
it's funny, you know, these are the defenders of women here.
Yes. Well, they only see, here's the thing. They'll only defend women if they're defending women against men, right? Since we live in the since they basically abide by the woke cultural Marxist perspective, where life is a series of conflict struggles between various groups of people, we have to adopt the intersectional approach where we have the race to the bottom, reverse privilege hierarchy. So on the privilege hierarchy, women are above trans women. So therefore, you have to throw out any logic and any arguments that would apply. And you just have to automatically take trans women's positions and their side on anything.
Yeah.
Just because they're lower on the, quote unquote privilege hierarchy than cis women are. That's all that matters.
This is where the term political correctness comes from. Because it's like, this is the correct political opinion. Don't concern yourself with reality here, okay?
Well, they're not making an argument based on facts. They're not making an argument based on logic. They're just saying because one group of people has less privilege, according to them, than another group of people, you have to just automatically take their side.
Yeah.
Period.
She even mentions this in the this will be better for society comment.
Right. Right.
Than the other women. I mean, it's time to ban her. Tiger Woods, I've used this again. He was playing golf from age 3 or 5. He's a prodigy. He had an unfair advantage. He had more practice and he was younger than the other golfers when he was competing against them. I don't know.
It's important to know that the
Aaron
extent to
Rodgers
which
because we don't live in the perfect world where everyone's a blank slate and everyone has all the same opportunities and all the same access to everything. That means that there can be no categorical restrictions for anything ever.
Yeah. Weird.
hands are bottom of other quarterbacks. Let's ban him.
Well, and the extent to which we understand what the actual differences are on these things, we have very little understanding to the point where last Olympics you saw women who, as far as
why is Matt Binder and this other guy even there? The host is already he's talking to Emma from off camera again. Why invite these guys on the show?
I know biological women assigned female at birth told you can't actually run in this because you have we've done tests and your levels are not acceptable, which is insane.
Yeah, if your kid is competing against a trans woman, it's an opportunity for you to say, hey, sometimes life's not fair, and if you want to beat her in this track meet, you better train really hard. In fact, that's
Oh, so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Well, first of all, she just admitted that it's not fair.
Yeah, she did. That's a
She just admitted
step
it's
in the
not
right
fair.
direction.
Right. So thank you, Emma, for admitting it's not fair. But slightly the idea, listen, that's why I put my child in sports, to teach them that life isn't fair. That's a good fucking message to teach my child.
Right.
Life isn't fair. That's why you're going to do sports. Not about you should work hard so you can win, so you can learn how to cooperate with the team, so that even, when you lose, you still accept, defeat gracefully. No, it's life isn't fair because sometimes political correctness is all that matters. That's a good lesson to teach your child, Emma.
So we've worked so hard to create a society that is mostly fair.
No. Fuck it.
No, I'm serious.
No, fuck it.
That's what's so scary about this. It's because it is. Look, one of the things, and obviously this is aspirational. I wouldn't be delusional enough to think, obviously a rich man in some sort of legal battle has much more resources at his disposal and is in a better spot, right?
Right.
But to think that, people are just above the rules or above the law, that's what takes place in banana republics and stuff.
Right.
But this does have that flavor. It does. Look at the Peter Griffin meme that you brought up, right? That's literally what's going on in that meme. Yeah. The rules are this here. Oh, the rules don't apply to you. Never mind.
Right.
It's like, what?
You have a special identity that lets you break the rules.
Yeah, that's what we used to do with royalty. Remember what Americans said to the crown? We don't do it like that around here.
Right.
Everyone is created equal.
Yep.
Yeah. But some people,
They're more equal than others.
yeah, this is so weird. It's such a
Yes.
weird thing. And you have, I'm used to this from the monarchy crowd on the right, but on the left here, I mean, they're basically making the same argument. Yeah, it's unfair. Suck it up. They're royalty.
As long as they view you're part of a group or class that is less privileged. That's all.
Yeah.
That is the fundamental principle of current leftists. It's who's part of a group, not as individual. They say fuck individuals. Who's part of a group or class that is less privileged? That's who I have to side with. That's the foundational privilege for leftists right now.
Yeah, they're the royalty.
Yeah.
They're the ones you got to suck it up. They make the rules, okay? And if they want to change the rules on the fly, well, you just fuck off.
Yep.
Like a pretty good hallmark of like a parent that's engaging in their child's sport in a productive way.
I mean, yes. And also this for me fits into that same bucket of things like I always bring up where parents complain about their kids not getting into Harvard because of theoretical affirmative action case, a theoretical, not even legacy because they never complain about that, but the affirmative action case takes their job. And the reality is like the people complaining are always people who weren't going to make it in anyway. It's always 20th place in the race. It's always someone with a 3.4 GPA and no extracurriculars who want to go.
What about Riley Gaines, dumbass?
Well,
Riley Gaines is complaining because she's got a record on the line.
Right. Well, and whether you support affirmative action or not, the argument he's making is idiotic because he's like, oh, well, it's a person with a 3.4 GPA who's complaining that they're not going to get in. We understand that the person that you're allowing to go in under the affirmative action program has the 3.4 GPA that you're saying that the other person's not going to get in,
Look,
that's the whole thing.
I don't know if Riley Gaines is a record holder, so don't hold me to that.
You can look into it.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Wants to go to Harvard, but feels like they deserve to be there. And it just paints a picture of people who just feel as though their place is being threatened by
Wasn't the lawsuit against Harvard, wasn't it Asian people suing, saying that they were raising the criteria for Asians? Wasn't that the lawsuit?
Yes. Yeah.
So his whole argument is just insane. Right.
Yeah. The introduction of minority groups into traditionally white spaces, male spaces, cis hetero spaces that they just feel are designated for them to use to get ahead in various social situations or in life in general. What did it's not supposed to be a competition.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brandon, but what do conservatives always say? Like, what the liberals and their participation trophies. I mean, not everyone gets to be number one. Sorry, not everybody gets to be number one.
And
not by cheating, though. It's so, oh, man.
Well, but so he was saying this in terms of affirmative action policies, and she's mocking, saying, well, not everyone gets a participation trophy. You're literally lowering the bar of entry for other people on the basis of their skin color or some other protected class. You don't get to then turn around and say, not everyone gets a participation trophy. The right wingers are, being hypocrites about this. That's an insane take.
Yeah. But also, like the idea that trans people go into these things and just clean up is that's not actually the case. The idea, the advantage isn't actually that clear. You only ever hear about it though if a trans person has some sort of success.
Exactly.
You just and
the most ridiculous one I saw, I had to look this up because I remember it. And
listen, Adam, that time that you brought up that trans woman that got the record for weightlifting, that's just an outlier. It's only happened that one time.
Well, no, they do this weird Mott and Bailey thing where they're like, every single trans person that competes doesn't do well. And I'm like, yeah, but the record holder is always going to be a trans woman.
Right.
Like some trans woman is going to come in and destroy the record. That's inevitable. Inevitable.
I remember, this was like last month or 2 months ago, the right wing was going crazy over this trans woman running in the women's marathon in London or something. And they were complaining that, all the women who placed after this trans woman, imagine how they felt. The trans woman placed in 6,159th place in the marathon. They were complaining over people who placed after the 6,159th place trans person. It is ridiculous.
Yeah,
It is
and I'll just say
ridiculous.
one final.
Did you hear about that? I never even heard about this.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking
The
about.
big event that everyone was complaining about. I'd never even heard of. Okay. So I looked into this. It was a 54-year-old. Some sort of like
No way.
public marathon. Like no one gives a shit about this. This is the total like bullshit strongman. Some 50-year-old trans woman who I think just started transitioning, by the way, too. Right? You know. Congratulations. Like, okay. Who cares? Good, good for them, I guess.
Final thing, because there's I really like skeptical of this. This issue, to the extent that there would be like an unfair advantage in a certain sport or whatever, given like say a trans person not given the ability to say go on puberty blockers or something like that. Like just to grant that is an issue for the athletics department. That is not a national politics issue, and it is insane. It is a pathological that it has become a matter of political importance widely.
So it's interesting. So we have the faceless voice. Even he's saying, well, maybe this should be left up to the individual sport associations, right? So even he's willing to say maybe there's some criteria that should be upheld here. Or Emma's just like, fuck that.
Yeah, because they know how much leeway they have.
Right.
Yeah, we've naturalized girls' sports, right? As if they need to be like this incredible national priority. To be honest, the real national.
Right. She said we naturalized girls' sports.
And then she means nationalized. I don't know.
Well, so the word. Well, I don't know what does she mean by that.
Maybe she means normalized. I don't know.
Well, when I heard it, I thought she meant like naturalized in terms of like to establish that something is like a biological component, right? Which obviously, yeah, you would naturalize girls' sports to be something for girls. Like that's the whole point of the categorization in the first place. But you're right. I don't know. Maybe she misspoke.
I think she misspoke. Yeah.
National priority, to Matt's point there, is making sure that trans women and people have every opportunity to participate in the joys of life, in competition, in social institutions. And that means
and to be a record holder, of course. Right?
Right.
Like, fuck those ladies. I want my record. Where's my scholarship, bitch? That's my scholarship.
Sports, full stop. But like that was one of her dumbest, aside points. But the macro point here about Nikki Haley is like, let's just put up this image of her really quickly. Is still, I just want to people, she presents herself. She's got that cross on, right? Or maybe that's not what she's wearing, right? Well, I don't know. I thought that was the.
This is what's hilarious to me. They zero in on that religious stuff.
Yeah.
God, they're like, I hate religion. She's thinking to herself, religion, evil.
Well,
and she's found a bunch of fucking nonsense.
I know.
What the fuck?
I know.
I thought she hated
religion.
I know. I thought she hated religion because, religion. They believe unscientific stuff. Let me talk to you about the sex spectrum and how biological males and biological females are identical. It's like, what the fuck? You're in a cult, bitch. At least Christianity has had some sort of evolutionary process for like thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
This shit came up in 2017. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're devoting your life to a cult. It's so bad.
I
think it might be a South Carolina.
That doesn't matter. Yeah. But like her campaign video.
Look, they even make excuses. They're like, that cross. Look, she's so mad about the cross. Oh, that's a South Carolina thing. Look, she has to wear the cross. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter.
I don't even think it's a cross. I think it's just something else.
Oh, really? It's like
I don't know what it is. It's just something that vaguely looks like a necklace. So I guess they assume
it's dice. Look, she's a gambler.
There you go.
It's a set of playing cards. Oh my God, she's a poker player.
There you go.
I'll back it up a little because I know I've interrupted here.
She's wearing, right? Well, I don't know. I thought that was that.
I think it might be a South Carolina.
That doesn't matter. Yeah, but like her campaign video, her entire kind of brand as a politician was that, I was very reasonable as the United Nations ambassador. I am a respectable Republican politician. She is trying to look like she is like an esteemed statesman. And even she feels the need to engage in this garbage anti-trans culture war stuff, and she's presenting herself as the more moderate option within the Republican Party, just to show how much this has like completely infected the brain of Republican voters and general Republican voters, the big base.
So Emma, who knows apparently nothing outside the leftist bubble, who thinks people don't really care about the trans issues, that she's spending 10, 20 minutes talking about how much she cares about it. So much so that she doesn't actually care about what the science is, right? But no one else cares about these issues, of course. Thinks that it's a moderate position, or it's not a moderate position, to talk about whether trans women should be able to participate in, female sports or not, right? She doesn't understand anything outside of her little tiny bubble.
That's an extreme position? No, that's
Apparently.
a very moderate position.
Oh, yeah.
That's the crazy thing. They don't even really understand how democracy works, even though they're the, the avatars for democracy. It's like, if people don't care about issues, politicians don't care about issues, okay?
Right.
They just say, oh, okay, no one cares about this.
Right.
But obviously people do care about this issue, and they're going to use it in the Republican primary to drive voter turnout in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're on a political show. You should know that, for doing election coverage and stuff like that, instead of deluding yourself and deluding your audience into thinking people don't actually care about this stuff. Look at every single person. There's a lot of women who compete in sports that care about this.
Yes.
They feel like it's an assault on them. They feel like it's an assault on their personal spaces.
Well, and also, I mean, it has broader repercussions, because the entire argument that they're levying here is, trans women shouldn't just be identified as trans women. They should be identified in the same category as cis women. There should be no differential distinction between them.
Right.
Yeah. That's the real argument that they're levying here, which obviously has much broader implications than just sports. So,
of course.
And for those of you I know who are so curious, the necklace is a palm tree with a little bird.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
That's why he said it was a South Carolina thing.
Right.
Because he was like, it's a South Carolina.
Little tree with a bird.
Right. But, the vampire, Emma Vigeland, when she sees the cross, she's like, oh my God, there's religion and politics. Let me tell you about the transes. Look, so much of politics just is religion. This is so obviously true. Like the Republicans did do a good job of turning Christians into Republican voters. And the progressives are like, this religion thing, maybe there's something to this. We need our own religion. Maybe we can use religion to drive people to the polls. And they've crafted this crazy religion that so many of these progressives are a part of.
Mm-hmm.
That we idolize the thoughts and feelings of the oppressed, marginalized people of the world.
Oh, it's not a bird. It's a moon. It's a crescent shape. Apparently, there's literally their state flag is the little tree with the moon on it.
Nice. Nikki Haley getting some. I like it.
What that means.
For her state.
Oh.
For South Carolina. Getting a little South Carolina representation going.
Come on. Little South Carolina action going on there.
South Carolina is an important state because that's usually the make or break state during these primaries. So that's why a lot of people, I believe Tim Scott is from South Carolina too. That's one of the reasons why I think Tim Scott is going to be the pick for whoever wins the primary.
You sent me some articles. This is from March of this year.
Yeah, because it's more interesting than I suspected. I think Nate did a video on this. So a trans woman
looks just like a man in the picture. Maybe that's a pre-transition.
So it looks like a trans woman beat the weightlifting record, right?
Right.
And a man was like, well, if a biological males can compete, they just have to say they're a woman. Fuck, I'm going to beat this one. So he says he's a woman.
Oh, I see.
And he's got like a full beard and shit. And he just destroys her record. He's like, look, I'm the record holder for the female deadlift weight champion.
That's hilarious.
Fuck yourselves.
That's so funny.
It is hilarious. It's like, this is the world you guys wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Emma, this is a great example to tell your daughter how life is unfair. This bearded dude just bested you in your own political game.
After a trans woman beats the record, he's like, well, I guess I identify as a woman. Let me just double beat your record.
Yes. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
This is the world progressives want.
Yes.
But somehow when he does it, it's unfair. Well, because he didn't say the magic incantation and do the...
He didn't call dibs properly. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh,
well, it's funny because if they're going to make the argument that there's not going to be requirements for
self-ID,
surgery,
I know,
and it's just self-ID, there's literally no way around this. Everyone's just going to do this, just to troll them, or just to win a trophy.
Of course. I mean, frankly, I'm encouraging it. Like,
yeah,
gentlemen,
I agree.
We know what to do. Gentlemen, and occasionally ladies. Occasionally when it comes to getting your names in the record books. Oh God.
Right.
That's like that's the best troll of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Not the one sitting in New Hampshire there. But that she even feels the need that she has to do that.
Yeah, she's trying to like hit DeSantis on. You're going way over there with the culture war stuff. You're even making Disney want to leave, and then also doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And who listens to their coverage on the election? It's like so.
The leftists.
Yeah, but it's like listening to a third grader's view of the world. The bads people.
People on the right don't care about trans issues. It's not going to go well with the voters. I mean, it's not like DeSantis has literally made his entire career attacking wokeness or anything.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Whatever. No one cares about that. I mean, it didn't significantly help Donald Trump, win presidency the first time, and will continue to help him win the second time. No, nobody cares about wokeness.
This is what is so sad, because this Republican election, or this, Republican nominating process is going to be fascinating to watch, and none of it is going to be accessible by these nimrods. They're not going to understand any of it. I was watching some of David Pakman's coverage, and I was like, this guy is
very smart. David Pakman. Remember, David Pakman is a very smart commentator.
He's a fucking moron. He was talking about Tim Scott entering the race, and like I've been saying for months now, Tim Scott is going to be the vice presidential pick.
Or at least attempts to be the vice presidential pick.
Yeah, Tim Scott is literally running for vice president. I sent Sitch Tim Scott got in the race and got a almost a thank you. Yeah, almost a thank you out of Donald Trump. Yeah.
For running against him, yeah.
Because he's going to be his wingman in those debates. Are you kidding me?
Of course.
He's going to hold him while Trump beats him. He's literally running for vice president. And David Pakman on his show says, I don't even know why he's getting in the race.
Yeah,
you moron.
He said, I don't know why people who don't have a chance even bother running. Which was like, fucking, really?
It's so stupid. Right. As he's saying, Marianna Williams should really get into this competition because we need to pull the Democratic Party leftward.
But Tim Scott, I cannot perceive of why he would enter this race for any reason.
Yeah. It's so stupid. Their commentary on Republicans, which they don't understand at all, is just total dog shit.
And the necklace is, in fact, South Carolina palm tree.
Gotcha. Right. I think I made that mistake before.
Lol.
Slam Cedar. Emma, there's tons of evidence regarding testosterone levels in height, strength, and speed between people with XX chromosomes and XY chromosomes. Matt's citation off cases about the Olympics is pertinent, but an argument for better planning and more transparent discussions. Your argument is really bad on this, and you're out of your depth. You're correct that trans women should be able to compete in women's sports, but your argument for it is just scientifically and factually incorrect. I'm actually not bad about this. I'm 100% right on this. I don't give a shit about the scientific explanations. People, if they identify as a woman, get to compete in sports. If that's not fair in the short term for a variety of little competitions, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. because the societal interest of including trans people in society trumps stupid competition. Full stop. So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
Oh my God.
The look on Matt's face says it all. Like, oh boy.
Triggered. Damn, she got one guy hard.
Yeah. She
Oh,
got
it's
some
so funny-
pushback from the audience.
Because the guy agrees with her overall point. He's just saying you're making a bad argument. And she got fucked. She lost it. Someone's saying, I agree with you, but you're making a bad argument. Now, he said it a little bit rudely, right? But it's just, you're wrong. Science doesn't actually matter here. Fuck science.
Yeah, I know. That's why this clip is totally going viral.
Yes. Well, because as everyone's saying, this is the mask off moment for this whole conversation. Is they don't care. Emma doesn't care. These people don't care. It's never, they kind of make these BS scientific arguments. We say this a million times. When the science is on your side or on a side, everyone makes scientific arguments.
Yep.
The second the science is not on their side, well, it's not about the science. It doesn't matter. I'm making a broader moral issue.
It's a moral argument now.
Political argument. Who cares about the science? The science doesn't support me, so I don't care about it. Suddenly, it's throw it out the window, right?
Yeah.
I don't care if trans women could have she basically is saying, I don't care if trans women can have the biggest advantage over all cis women in any sports. Trans women could hold all the records in all cis women sports. It's better for society. Society's just better this way.
I really wish we could ask her, if trans women have hold every single record to the point where, like, it's not even really touchable by biological women. Is that a better society?
Yes.
It's like,
it is.
Explain to me why that's better.
It's easy. What do you mean? So you know the answer. Let me pull out my chart of oppression, okay? See, here's the chart of oppression. Okay, we have white males at the top, Adam.
Look,
okay?
You're going to demoralize girls. You're going to demoralize girls who want to compete.
Why are you bringing up things that are irrelevant? Let me point to the chart.
How is that irrelevant?
Let me point to the chart. Here's the pyramid chart, okay? We have white males at the top, Adam. Most privileged, okay?
Right.
Therefore, they deserve to be the most oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath them, we got white women. Oh my God. Straight white women. Fuck straight white women, Adam. They're almost just as bad as men. They're Karens. They're all Karens. They all want to get black men killed. Okay.
Yeah. Ouch.
And then look, let's go down a couple steps, and here's the trans women. Okay.
Right.
See how the trans women are below the woman on the hierarchy of oppression?
Right.
Therefore,
except for in sports where they're all the record holders.
Shh. Listen. The broader societal implications show on the chart that trans women are under cis women. So therefore, vis-a-vis ad hoc ad procto al dente, that means that therefore you have to side with a trans woman.
Fellas.
It's simple. It's just simple math.
Fellas. We know who's at the top of that hierarchy. We know what to do. Seriously. Just identify, look. You can be gender fluid, okay? Just identify long enough in the competition.
Right.
Yeah.
We
want all these records.
And it's funny. She literally gave the self-ID argument. She just said, if you identify as a woman, that's all you need. And nothing else matters. She didn't even say the time, how long you transition, whether you've been on puberty blockers, whether you've been on cross-sex hormones. She just said, as long as you self-ID as a woman, that's all that matters.
Yeah. See
so
how
she would
that
have to
plays
support
out for you, Emma.
Yeah, so she'd have to support that guy in Canada who's just like, oh, I identify as a woman today. Let me go get the world record. Or let me get the record in Canada all of a sudden. Boom. Look at that.
I think he did the record in front of the trans woman record holder, too.
He did do it. Yeah, he did.
It's like,
it's pretty funny.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Check this out. Make this record nice and high.
There you go.
Good luck, ladies.
There you go. I mean, this is what's so ridiculous. Everyone knows the self-ID argument is a stupid argument.
Of course.
It's a ridiculous argument. I don't think the self-ID argument, I'm trying to think of any avenue of society where like a pure self-ID is accepted for anything. I'm not sure I can think of it.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor's good, right?
Right. Because like even like you're like, oh, I'm whatever religion I am. It's like, yeah, but if you say that you're part of some religious group and then you don't follow any of the tenets of that religion,
They're gonna
like,
throw your ass out.
Yeah, like you can just say that you are, but no one's gonna accept it or believe you. They're like, no, you're not. You're not part of any of this stuff.
As a very vocal atheist for Jesus, I can attest to this. Okay.
Right. Right. So it's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous.
Anyway, Dr. Shock, I agree. Let's get rid of weight classes in all combat sports. Perhaps have grown man compete in Little League. Sometimes life's not fair.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Got him!
Oh my God. Just annihilated. Look,
Yes.
destroyed on your own show.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Life's not fair. Get in the kitchen, Emma.
Well, it's funny because like this is on the unlisted live stream, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like this is, I'm assuming not, but I don't know. I think only the people that are like really big Majority Report fans are watching their shit live. Enough to leave these comments that she's reacting to. And they're like, this is a terrible argument, Emma.
Yeah. They probably have girlfriends or daughters in women's sports.
Sure.
Whatever. Number 13, when Justice Thomas and Alito, but very specifically Thomas, expire, I literally will have an entire week of celebration. Gonna take off work and everything. That made me mad. Sorry about that, guys.
No need to apologize. It's good to get mad about things sometimes.
I can't with this discussion. All right, let's do this really quickly. This Texas State House.
Okay, that was it. That was the clip.
Well, it reminds me, like in the religious context, when you have, the really questioning person that comes up and is like,
right,
pointing out all these contradictions in your religion, and you're like, look, you're already at peace with all those contradictions because it's your religion, right? I mean, they're glaring contradictions to everybody else, but the same exact psychology is taking place here. Like everybody sees the contradictions in this women's sports thing.
It doesn't matter, Adam. This is better for society. Okay?
Yeah.
This is better for society.
Yes, totally.
We should just have 7-foot tall 20-year-old males competing in the 12-year-old basketball league because it's a good lesson for kids to know that life isn't fair.
Yeah, totally. Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.